Hold on, because do you mind if I address the Gospel of Jesus' wife?
Sure, go ahead.
What was her name again? I'm like trying to write notes like I know what I'm doing, but I'm just curious.
So the Gospel of Jesus' wife doesn't actually mention. So oftentimes what happens is that the text of the Gospel of Jesus' wife is kind of paralleled with the Gospel of Philip, which mentions that that Jesus would kiss Mary Magdalene on the mouth. The reason we know it's also not legitimate is because we can tie it directly to not copying from an ancient text, but actually copying from an online version of the Gospel of Thomas in a PDF form. And the mistake on that PDF form was copied into the text that was borrowed in the phraseology of Jesus' wife.
All right, so what Wes is saying here isn't some sort of claim that's hard to verify. You literally can't Google Jesus' wife without seeing tons of articles explaining exactly how all of this went down. This alleged inscription about Jesus' wife wasn't copied from an ancient text, but instead from a modern PDF of the Gospel of Thomas that had an error in it, and the forger accidentally copied the same error. So it's true that Harvard was initially fooled into believing that it was legit, only later to clarify that it was a forgery due to the reasons that Wes brought up. So unless Billy literally doesn't do any research, there's no doubt in my mind that Billy's aware of these facts. So the real question is, how is he going to refute these facts and respond to the claims?
I don't know anybody in the field of papyrology, paleography, historiography, who actually refers to these documents as being legitimate.
That's fair enough. I can respect that. So let's go into the Old Testament a little bit.
So once again, Billy has no rebuttal and is trying to pivot to the Old Testament, despite him going on every major podcast telling people that this is evidence that Jesus had a wife. And just so we're all on the same page here, at this point, Billy has given 3 arguments to undermine the credibility of the Bible and the faith of Christians. His first argument was that the Sinai Bible doesn't mention that Jesus was crucified and that it came before the King James Version. But in reality, not only is there no such thing as the Sinai Bible, the codex that he's referring to does mention the crucifixion and is virtually exact with the Bible that we have today. The second piece of evidence that he gave was for the Book of Barnabas, which was written in Spanish and dated well over 1,000 years later than the biblical manuscripts that we have currently. And lastly, he appeals to the Gospel of Jesus' wife, which was actually just a small fragment that was a proven forgery.